How's it going, everybody? Bobo the Scourge here, doing what clowns do best on Sea of Thieves, and today that is going to be bringing you guys a little tutorial video on how to go about soloing skeleton forts. I noticed a little while ago there was a post on the community page about soloing forts and, why are they so difficult? What am I doing wrong? What's the best way to go about doing them on your own? So on and so forth. So I figured I'd post a little tutorial video on how I go about doing these. I've soloed plenty of them. They are a righteous pain in the ass. They are inherently risky to do by yourself, but the payout can be good if you know what you're doing and you complete them quickly. So that being said, I am at an inactive fort right now, which I believe is Skull Keep, and then later on in the video you'll be seeing what I'm talking about here at Skull Keep in practice at a live skeleton fort. So if you're just one of those people that wants to watch the action instead of listening to me ramble on about the theory of how this is done, I'll post the timestamp down below in the video description. That way you can just skip ahead. But if you want a little bit of a detailed explanation of how I go about doing things before seeing it in action, that's what I'm about to do. So, to get started, we're going to start here at Skull Keep, and we're going to talk about why skeleton forts are difficult for people and why they shouldn't be difficult anymore. A lot of people go to skeleton forts and they make the same very basic mistakes: fighting in the open, not using line of sight, not knowing where the locations of important things like your ammo chests and gunpowder barrels are, and that's what gets you killed at skeleton forts when you try to knock them out solo. So I am here to hopefully rectify that for you and give you a little bit of insight on how easy these things can be. So the first thing I want to talk about is skeleton AI. Skeletons are inherently stupid. They are very, very dumb. Their AI is incredibly basic. And knowing how they work and how they move is going to do nothing but aid you in completing these on your own. So, skeletons are stupid. They always run in a straight line in the shortest distance possible towards you. So let's say I'm standing right here and there's a skeleton over there at that little lantern thing. That skeleton is going to run in a straight line towards me if possible. If not, it's going to take the shortest path possible to get to me. So in this case, he's going to run from there to here to here, more than likely. He might go around and up this ramp, but point is, he's going to run in a straight line, or mostly a straight line. If I'm standing here and there's a skeleton over there at that canyon, he's going to go down the ramp, come up this ramp this way. So yeah, that's basically how skeletons move, no matter where you're at in the game. It doesn't even have to be at a fort. I'm sure you've noticed it before. They're dumb. They just like to chase things. They're like dogs without leashes. Just think of them like that. So if you know how skeletons move, then you can manipulate them into moving into places that you want. And those places that you want are choke points. So there's 3 that I use on every fort. Some forts are a little bit different. Like this one only has 1 ramp on the left instead of having 2 ramps, and there's no back door. Some of them have 2 ramps, no back door. Some of them have a back door and 2 ramps. But they're all basically the same. And these choke points will work no matter which type of fort you're using. You might just have to adjust your play style depending on whether or not you've got that back door, you've got that second ramp, so on and so forth. But the 3 choke points that I like to funnel them into are right here at the front door, and then there's another one right up here at the top of this ramp. You just stand right here, and you can swing away at them. And then the final choke point you're going to use is going to be this one right here, this skinny little ramp at the top. So the basic premise is gather up all the skeletons, get them into a choke point so that you can do the maximum amount of damage possible to the most skeletons possible while taking the least amount of damage yourself. So how do you group skeletons up and get this done? Well, the easiest way to do it is to run the hell away. So skeletons always spawn in one of 3 patterns. You're going to have an all indoor spawn in which they will either split between the bottom and the top, or they will be all on top and all on bottom. You will have them all outdoors, and depending on the fort, there might only be 1 outdoor spawn location, which I believe on this fort is over here. There might be, no, there's 1 right here, and then they spawn over here by this rock, so there's 2. So they'll either all spawn right there, all spawn right there, or split between the 2 of them, or you'll get the worst type of spawn, which is a split spawn between the outside and the inside. So they could all spawn up top, and then some over there in that corner. They could all spawn at the bottom, and some by that rock, or any combination of those 4. Not a big deal, no matter which one it is. The easiest one to deal with is the all outdoor spawn because you're already set up in a location where you have viable lanes of retreat. So you just hang out right here, and as long as they don't got gunpowder barrels, you can just sit here, wait for them to come to you, and hack and slash away at them until one or two get past you. You take a little bit of damage, no big deal. Run up to your secondary fallback point, munch a banana if you need it, and then they will all group up right down here at the bottom and get clumped. You can sword dash down, chain your sword dashes if you want. You can just do a couple more swings, whatever whatever fits the scenario best. And if you don't kill them all, you can come right back up here to this third point, hack and slash away, finish out the wave, and then you can jump through this window. Okay, maybe not this window. The fort's a little bit different. Let's see, where's the window I can jump through? There we go. Jump through the window and then reset back at position number 1. So, you're going to want to, when it comes to an all indoor wave or a split wave, you're going to want to run around outside and get them all grouped up out here. And the reason why is because if they're all inside and you stay here at the front door and you fight them, you might survive. I mean, especially if it's like a basic wave of just claw skeletons or cutlass guys, you could probably sit here and hack and slash away at them. But if one of them does slip past you or you take too much damage, you're going to be stuck out here running around anyway, munching on bananas to get your health back. And then you're going to come right back up there to the front door and you're going to do that retreat thing anyway. So I figure why not just go ahead, run away, get them all clumped up, come back, don't take any damage at all, and then just do what will take you probably a minute or two to knock out the wave. The most dangerous spawn type is the split spawn, and for that one, you definitely do not want to sit here at this front door and fight. And reason being, because you're going to have half a wave coming down this way that you're going to be actively fighting, and you're going to have another half a wave that is staring at them juicy booty cheeks, trying to come up from behind and shank you in the ass. Nobody likes getting shanked in the old stinker. It hurts really bad, and it's a really easy way to die. So if it's an all indoor spawn or a split spawn, I just like to take the time, run around outside, get them grouped up, munch on some bananas if you need to, and then you can run right back up to the front door. And then you can use those 3 points that I talked about earlier, here, there, and up top, to knock out the wave. There's only 2 types of waves that this really doesn't work with, and those are golden skeletons and gunpowder skeletons. So with golden skeletons, I don't like to fight them indoors at all, playing solo. And that's because gunpowder barrels are a very reliable resource when you are soloing, more so than if you're running with a crew. If I had a crew of people with me here, I wouldn't give 2 craps about blowing up this barrel and just knocking out the wave. But as a solo player, gunpowder barrels are very, very useful. And usually in a tower, you're going to have more than one. So that's 1, 2... So that was 2 right there. So by shooting that 1 barrel, I just wasted another one that was sitting up top. You don't want to do that. You want to keep your barrels for later use. And then additionally, say there was a barrel right there and then there was another one right above my head. If you didn't scout out before and you went ahead and shot it, that barrel could chain into that barrel and then you just killed yourself. So when it comes to golden guys, I like to just go ahead, run outside, drop a barrel like right here, and then step back a little bit, and then I'll just shoot that barrel when they're all lined up on it, and that makes the wave really, really easy. It's like an extra 30 seconds of your time, but it's better than wasting barrels, and it's better than dying. The other kind of wave you don't want to do this with is with gunpowder skeletons when you're playing solo. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Like this fort, for example, there's not a whole lot of room to retreat outside and run around. So sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and pray you don't blow yourself up. But if you can, then what I recommend doing is running in a straight line distance to the furthest point that you can on the beach, turn around, and then snap fire at him before you get yourself blown up. If you do that, then that should knock out most of the wave for you, and then if there's a couple stragglers left behind, as long as they're not like snipers and pistols, you can just run up to them and whack them, or you can come back to your door and go ahead and hack and slash away at them, use your points, and then you should be good to go for the next wave. So that's pretty much it. This little triple retreat method I use, it works on, like I said, almost every kind of wave of skeletons. Doesn't matter if they're grass, if they're shadows, if they're regular boys, doesn't matter at all. Pick your poison. You can kill them very easily doing this. The only other thing that I see some people having problems with are those pesky sniper and pistol skeletons, and that's because a lot of people I don't see line of sighting properly. So if you don't know what line of sighting is just basically breaking your line of sight to a wave of skeletons so that they chase after you. So let's say we've got sniper skeletons or pistol skeletons right down here, and I'm standing here. They are going to shoot at me and not move at all. They're just going to keep taking shots at me until I die, unless I break my line of sight to them. So if the skeleton can't see you and he can't shoot you, he's going to instead revert back to his stupid AI and try to close the distance with you. So if I stand here, those skeletons will eventually run right up here onto this little platform, and I can hack and slash away at them. So instead of like running out from the safety of this location here and, trying to dodge bullets and close the distance out on the beach where you're exposed, just break the line of sight to them and let them come to you. You can do this here at this front door. You can do it at this ramp up here. The way I like to do it is if you stand right here, they will group here at the bottom. And then you can just run back until you can't see the bottom of the ramp anymore, and then they will come up here, and you can hack away at them. And then on the third ramp at the top, all you gotta do is run right here. They will group right there, and then once they're all grouped up, duck back behind this board. Once you're back behind this board, they will run right here, and you can hack and slash away at the whole group until they're dead, and then you just run back down and reset yourself into the center of the tower, which apparently I can't do it right there. This one's a pain in the butt. There we go. So that's pretty much it for the theory. Use those 3 points to retreat, group up all the skeletons beforehand if you can, and if you're playing solo and it's gunpowder boys or golden boys that spawn inside, just go ahead and take them outside first to blow them up. That way you don't waste any barrels unnecessarily. If you're with a crew, I mean, by all means, have at it. There's more than one of you to knock out the waves. So that's pretty much it as far as the theory goes. I'm going to go find an active fort and then show you what this little strategy looks like in practice. So stand by and we will go find ourselves some trouble to get into.
A few moments later.
So after sailing around for a little bit, I wound up at Lost Gold Fort. Pretty much parked my boat somewhere where the cannons wouldn't shoot it, and decided to go do the whole skelly killing thing. So this fort's a little bit different than most others in that there's a back door in that central tower, so you won't see me use the front door choke point as much on this one, just because of the way the fort is set up. And like I said before, knowing the difference between all of the forts is it's pretty valuable as far as how you go about defeating them. So with this one, I don't use the front door as much as I would say like Crow's Nest Fortress, where it's just a single door at the front of the tower, but it's still usable here, and I do use it a couple of times. But mostly you're going to see that whole back up to the second ramp retreat kind of thing that I do. So right now it's just me killing the basic skeletons that are on the island. I tend to leave tower skeletons alone because it acts as an alarm for when another ship shows up, which actually happens at the end of this this video. Another ship does show up and try to steal the loot, so that was fun to deal with. But anyway, so you can see what I'm talking about here. I group up all the skeletons, and then I just start sword dashing down into them. I think this wave wound up being a little bit rougher than most. I can't remember exactly. Trying to focus on not getting killed versus focusing on commentary, which is, why I'm recording this after the fact. But you can see here, the whole ducking back method is pretty effective. I actually got knocked off there. Not a big deal. All I gotta do is run around in a circle and get back up to the ramp, munch a banana, and go back to what I was doing before. So with claw skeletons, they're the easiest wave, I think, to handle out of any other wave. That pistol skeleton's aiming at me. You saw me duck behind the board. He just moved up. So that's what I was talking about with line of sighting your ranged skeletons. They can tend to be a pain in the butt. Just break your line of sight to them, and it makes the job a whole lot easier. So hop down to the fort, wait for the wave to reset. There is a bug on this particular fort where you'll get skeletons that will spawn inside of walls. It used to be that you would have to sail away from the island and restart from scratch, but now I think they fixed it so that if one of the skeletons gets stuck and it can't move, eventually it'll just despawn itself and you can continue doing the fort, which that's pretty nice. So here we have gold skeletons. Didn't want to blow the barrel up inside of the fort because I saw there were a couple of others up there that I could use later, and I really didn't want to risk exploding those in case of more golden skeletons. So just popped one on two little skellies that were hanging out. I think I actually end up getting stuck here in these rocks. Yep. I end up having to slide back and go back around the other way to find more barrels. But I know there's another one on the other side of the island, so I went to go and grab that one instead. Anyway, so yeah, with golden skeletons, like I said before, it's kind of risky blowing them up inside of the tower because you might blow up other resources or blow yourself up. So I just drag them out front, and then I think a couple of them survive after this next barrel, and I just end up pistoling them down. Golden skeletons are always a pain just because they move so damn slow, and they usually have ranged weapons, and getting them to move where you want is it's a bit of a headache, but it's much better than, trying to blow them up all at once and getting yourself killed in the process. And then you're stuck on the ship of the damned for a while, and then you spawn back in, and, a galleon rolls up and it's blowing up your ship. I would much rather waste a couple extra seconds and survive than deal with, having to worry about my ship getting sunk while I'm not there to tend to it. So, if you didn't know, if you're new to forts, every fort has an ammo chest at the top of the tower or on the second level of the tower, and there's usually another ammo chest. Actually, there is always another ammo chest outside of the fort. You're going to look for a bulky wooden structure that has a little ramp leading up to it. There's usually a cannon in that little wooden structure-y thing, and it'll have a winch cable on the wall that doesn't do anything. It's just cosmetic, but it's there. So if you ever need to find an ammo chest and you're outside of the tower, that's where the other one's at. So this little bastard is being particularly painful as far as wanting to die, but eventually he does die. And then once again, I hop back down into the center and I reset. So this is shadow skeletons. These ones are probably the biggest pain to deal with when going solo and using this retreat method, just because you've got to constantly sit there and shutter your lantern on and off. And this wave, I think they actually get me down to red in health. I'm not sure. It's either this wave or the next one. I know one of these skeleton waves, the shadow skeleton waves I had to do, they were being a bit of a pain. But yeah, I just run back through the back door. I immediately go up to the second ramp because I don't know if they're going to go through that back ramp or the front ramp. Luckily, it was the back one. So right here, they get all grouped up, and I can do a couple hacks into them. Don't know if I actually kill any on this little swing right here. But, yep, so reset the lantern again, wait for them all to come in, and then I think I go up to the third level to deal with them. Yep, sure do. Quick sword dash. And, yep, this is where they start treating me like a weed whacker. Shadow skeletons are always a pain in the butt, but still pretty easy to deal with as long as you use choke points and stuff. Just hop down, readjust myself, get them all lit back up again, and start doing the hacky thing. Choke points, obviously, as far as keeping skeletons bundled, with the exception of the front door, it doesn't really matter what direction you face when using these. Like, you can be at the bottom of this ramp, and if they're all at the top, they're still going to funnel into a small little location, and you can be at the top of the ramp and swing down towards the bottom. So, really not that big of a deal. As you can see, they get all grouped up just the way that I want them. Once I start swinging through them, eat a banana, run the hell away, jump back down, and then do the lantern thing again. So this pretty much continues on for, I'd say, probably another 10 minutes or so. And then I do eventually wind up having to go leave and kill a player galleon that decided to roll up on my ship. But this is the basic method. It's really, really easy. You can obviously kill any kind of skeleton wave that you want with it. The exception of the ones that I was talking about earlier, golden skeletons and gunpowder skeletons. You don't really want to risk those while you're doing the solo, just so you don't get yourself killed. So I hope seeing it in practice has helped you guys out. This is what I do anytime I want to solo a fort, and 9 times out of 10 it works for me. There's only a couple forts on the game that will give you some really big difficulty as far as gunpowder skeletons go, and that's because they're so small. You really don't have a place to run and turn around and snap fire back at them. So as always, let the fort kind of dictate what you do. Like, here I'm not sticking to the standard three-door retreat. I'm really only using the ramp and this top ramp up here because I don't know if they're going to split and come from that back ramp or that back door or the front door or both of them at the same time. So just get practice with all the other forts in the game first. I would highly recommend doing them with a crew if you haven't done them before, just so you can get used to them. And then once you get comfortable and you kind of got a good feeling for the layout of each fort in the game, go ahead and try to knock them out solo. So hope this video helped you guys, and I'll see you on the seas.